Hello everybody, it's Chris and we are in the Everglades, I believe. We are west of Miami, which you can see is that way, and east of Naples, which is that way. We're on, I don't even know what this road is, but we're about to get on US 41. US 41 at this point is called the Miami, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, Miami Trail, because it goes from Tampa to Miami. US 41 goes from Chicago down through the Midwest and ends in, I guess it ends in Miami. And it's called different things. It's called the Dixie Highway at different spots. And so we're about to jump on that right now and ride through the Everglades. I didn't know this was here, but this looks like a big monstrous Indian casino. Native American casino. Naples, 89 miles. Now this is not to be confused with Alligator Alley, which is, I don't know how many miles north of here. That is Interstate 75. And it's I've never been on it through the Everglades, but it's a major highway, whereas this, I believe, for most of it is like a 2-lane. And I don't know if Alligator Alley has more alligators than this part of the Everglades. I hope we see something. I don't know how common occurrence that is, but it'd be awesome to see an alligator. It'd be awesome to see a Florida panther. So we've been out of the Florida Keys for a while now. We've been I don't know, maybe 50 miles ago we got out of the Keys, and I spent a considerable, I've got my shield open because it's so hot out. I'm hoping it doesn't affect the audio that much. I spent a considerable time on the side of the road in this hot, humid Florida day. Fortunately, I found a shaded spot, but that didn't seem to provide too much relief. It was brutal. And the reason why I was on the side of the road relates to this, the Insta360. The Spyder didn't leave me stranded, not at all. On that note, this is, I want to say, I believe this is day 14 of my almost 3-week trip. It's going to be slightly less than 3 weeks. And that's without using a trickle charger, with a battery that, according to my dealer, was only at 70% of its life. And it cranked up every time. There were a couple of days in Hollywood Beach where I hadn't ridden this thing for 2 or 3 days. Started right up, no problems. So I think I'm going to make it back home with this 70% battery. But anyway, I was shooting a very, very short video this morning on the overseas highway that I'm going to use for an updated channel trailer. The channel trailer is basically a short, like 30-second. It's basically like an ad for your YouTube channel that you put on your channel in a certain spot. If you want to see mine, I've got one up there now. I'm changing it with a new one that I shot this morning over the overseas highway, but I've had one up for a year. Well, yeah, for almost since I started the channel. And basically, if you go to my channel page, the top video that you see is like an introduction to my channel. So I was shooting that video, and the Insta360 was on the rear grip, and I told you about the problem I had with that grip. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do this today, and I'm going to undo the U-bolt mount that was on that rear grip. I'll put this on the front mount, the clamp mount, which is here. The U-bolt mount, and the clamp mount are both sold by Insta360 for motorcycles. And when I took off the U-bolt mount from the rear grip, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It tore up the grip, but it's not really that bad. And I'm certainly not even going to think about getting it replaced. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do what I think I said I'm not going to do in the last video, is I'm going to find a hardware store in Naples, buy some electrical tape, just wrap it around it, and when I go to sell this thing, if someone says, well, what's with the electrical tape, I'll just tell them I have a YouTube channel, You may have heard of it. And I had this mishap with the mount for my Insta360, and we can unwrap the electrical tape so you can see exactly what damage was done. But anyway, so I take off that mount and I go to set up the Insta360 with the front mount, which was a clamp mount. I say was because I was having a devil of a time adjusting the clamp mount the way I wanted it, which was kind of a little more forward than the way it was. In the course of doing that, I don't know like what went wrong, but the clamp mount is not, I can't tighten it the way it needs to be tightened anymore. I don't know why. It's now in the rear top case. I'll fiddle with it when I get back to Niagara Falls. And in the course of doing that, the little Allen wrench that they supply you with fell into this little recess. I was monkeying with this and it fell down. It was at a point where I could see it. It was like in a little, like on a little shelf down there. So I got a pen and started using my forefinger in the pen to try to work it out. And of course I knocked it down. It went all the way into the Spyder. Now I'm just thinking, I probably should have rolled the Spyder forward because it might have gone all the way through. I didn't even think about that until just now as I'm shooting this. But either it's somewhere in the Spyder in some cavity, or it's on the side of the road by the Florida Keys. The original airboat tour, best in Florida since 1945. That's a cool bridge. I'm not sure I'd want to go on that bridge, but it's cool looking. So they're doing a lot of work on the Tam-Miami Trail. So anyway, I took the U-bolts and mounted it to the handlebars, and it seems to be working. And so now when I use my Insta360, I'm using it here. Now, I said on a video a few videos ago, I don't like this spot because when I'm showing you this preferred view, you can now see there's like this obstruction here. The other thing is I don't like the angle of the camera extended from here as much as I do when it's kind of 3/4 to the rear of the Spyder on that rear hand grip. But one thing I do like about this, and we're going to test, I'm going to show you this right now. So on the video of my ride to the Florida Keys, I did a stupid thing, and I got it all on video. It's on that video. But I realized after I turned on the Insta360 that I didn't extend the invisible selfie stick. It looked just like it does now. And I was on the 7-mile bridge where there's no like pull-off lane, and I couldn't stop in a traffic lane. Like I couldn't stop right now to adjust my camera. So on the fly, I put it on cruise, and I literally just extended it, only it wasn't here, it was back here. That wasn't the smartest or the safest thing to do. But now I can see easily if I forget to extend the selfie stick. But the other thing is I can easily turn this on and turn this off whenever I want, lift it up and lift it down, and we're gonna do it right now. We're gonna test it. Oh no, that's how you ruin someone's day. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so we're gonna test this right now. I'm gonna close my shield again now that we got some air flowing. And so to turn it on, you just turn that on like that. Well, it didn't come on. Now it's on. That blue light tells me it's on. To turn the camera on, to get the video started, you take this button right here and you hit it with some degree of force, Chris. Yeah, there you go. And I know it's working because of the blinking red light. Oh my gosh, I forgot to extend it. Well, it is now fully extended. I mean, that is a heck of a convenience. Even though I might not like it for a couple of reasons, I like it for that reason. So now let's say I get a great shot, the one that I'm really looking for, I have both the GoPro and the Insta360 capturing the video right where I want it to. But now I don't want to pull over or I don't want to wait till I find, it's just too hot, I've got to open this thing. Wait till I find the right spot. I'm going to just slide it down right now. Hi everybody. Off. As simple as that. I mean, that's a really good point for having that here. That's cool. I wonder who judges who's the best airboat operator. So I've never been through the Everglades. I think I've mentioned that. I will tell you that this is not what I was expecting. Now we've got another 80 miles to go. Maybe it's going to change, but for those of you, and I know there's quite a few because I've seen it in the comments who've been through it before, so I was expecting one a little bit more lusher, a little greener. Now maybe that it usually is greener, and because it's been a dry season, you see a lot of brown, more brown than green. Or maybe I just had a misconception. And the other thing is, I knew it would be flat because we're in Florida. I didn't like expect hills, but I guess I expected that green to be, I don't know, taller. Like this is like a, well, like that Marjorie, whatever her name is, who wrote that River of Grass said, it's grass. I don't know why I was expecting. No sign of an alligator. Maybe they're all up at Alligator Alley. Is it possible that maybe that's why it's called Alligator Alley? If you look on a map, we're not that far from it. Shark Valley, next left. But we're not going to go down that left. Oh, some activity. Another hydraulic something or other. Mikosaki gas station and general store. Something's going up. Progress in the Everglades. I love it. Oh, a whole Indian village. Nice. More airboats. So earlier I commented on the brownness as opposed to the lush greenness of the Everglades. I've seen a lot of guys fishing. And on how short the grass was compared to what I was expecting. I was expecting taller something or other, and here we are. Very green, tall trees. Looks like you got some pines. I don't know what this scrub is. Some palms. It is very, very hot. I saw a sign not too far back. I'd love to pass this guy, but I just don't have an opportunity. I saw a sign for a visitor center. It said Big Cypress Visitor Center. Now, if it's a legit visitor center, I'm going to pull over just to cool down. If it's one of those hokey little shops that bills itself as a visitor center, I'll keep going. We're an hour from our destination. Can't wait to get to a nice, cool hotel room. This water has been out in the sun for hours, since like 9 o'clock this morning. It's 2:30. So I'll take a drink when I stop, but it's going to be warm, whatever. So this looks like Big Cypress Gallery. That doesn't look like a visitor center. But we just passed a sign that said visitor center. It said Oasis Visitor Center a mile up. And I'm hoping it is an oasis. I'd love to take a drink despite how warm it is, but just go into an air-conditioned structure that's not in the sun. Okay, here we go. Half mile. That looks kind of official, so I'd be surprised if it was a little hokey shop. Oh, it's got its own pull-off, so this should be good. And I see a bunch of others are falling for the bait. Let's see what happens here. I'd love to find a shaded parking spot. And I think I did. I think that tree is waiting for me right there. It's a little bit of a walk to, oh, what is this? Maybe back there is where it is. Oh, right here, right next to this guy. Yeah, this is awesome. Oh, perfect. I'll pick it up in a bit. So this was actually a nice place. It's a National Park Service center behind these public restrooms, and it's kind of got some nice displays. It's got one of those rooms with like a continuously showing movie that you can watch, I guess, about the Everglades. So I'm glad I stopped here, and this shade with this breeze feels so nice. But I thought I'd show you the damage that the U-bolt that is now clamped, this thing here that is now clamped to the handlebars, did to the passenger thing. So you can see it just scuffed it here. It's here that I don't know if the GoPro is going to pick it up well, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And quite frankly, I probably don't have to do anything to it, but I'm going to cover it up with electrical tapes to prevent water from getting in there, because it is an electrical filament in there somewhere. So we are close to our destination, so let's carry on. I'm just so glad this was here, because I was really hot and I needed this. I'm thinking we're an hour out. Swamp buggy and ATV trailer parking only. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I like this place even better now. So if you had an ATV, you could bring it here and go in the Everglades with your ATV. Wow. I still can't figure out for the life of me what the deal is with this charger. So it could be the cable that I use, because it's an old iPhone cable. You know, it's one of those lightning cables, and it could be that that's the problem. So I'll try to charge something else. But the 12 volt charger does work with the trusty Garmin. You know, I'm torn over the Garmin, because I love some things about it. I love the screen. In bright sunlight, I can't even see the map on my iPhone, and no matter how bright the sunlight is, the Garmin is incredibly legible. I love the fact that I can use it in the rain, and I have used it in the rain on this trip. It's the user interface that I have a problem with. And I've had other Garmin products, but since then I've become so enamored with the iPhone and Google Maps and these user experiences that are just a step up. So I have not seen an alligator. I've not seen a Florida panther. I've seen 2 turtles crossing the road. They came up quick, and so I didn't have a chance to turn the camera on. I thought about stopping and turning around, but most of you have seen turtles. I don't know what turtles they were. They weren't snappers, for sure. I don't know what they were, but that's it. Now, I turned the camera on here because we just passed an area that looked like it was semi-civilized. Now, looking at this map, we're 21 miles to Naples, and I see a sea of green, so I think we're still in the Everglades. But I wondered when we passed that, there was like a resort, and there was an inlet with some boats. I wondered, is this like the outer edge and the end of the Everglades? I don't know. If we see a gator or a Florida panther, I'm going to click the camera on for sure. But if you like this video, if you'd hit like, I sure would appreciate it. If you have any comments on the Everglades, anything we talked about, the Insta360 and my new situation with that, please comment. If you're one of the folks that does not subscribe but watches, if you would subscribe, I sure would appreciate it. But know that if you don't subscribe, I still appreciate you watching. I really, really do. I know when I started about a year ago, no, what am I saying? I started to get into YouTube, let's say 2 years ago, when I started to do my research for the Spyder. I didn't really understand subscriptions and like what kind of commitment are you making, and it really is no commitment, but I didn't know that. And my guess is every day new people come to YouTube, whether they're looking for Spyder information or just anything, and they don't know how it works. So I get it when someone watches your videos but doesn't subscribe. Okay, so now we've passed a couple of housing developments, newer housing developments. So just as there was no grand entrance to the Everglades with a big giant sign saying welcome to the Everglades, maybe there's no exit sign, or maybe it's up ahead. This snowy egret's reminding me when I was talking about wildlife. I saw a bunch of birds, snowy egrets, great blue herons. I think they were great blue, some kind of herons. What looked like really scary looking vultures. I'm used to turkey vultures in part of the country where I've lived, but these guys were like scary looking, menacing looking. And I think I saw some cormorants and other birds, but no alligators. But clearly we are now at the beginning of civilization, I guess. Looks like new housing tracks going up there, which is a sign that the Everglades is ending. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. The next video will be about Naples and Fort Myers, and hopefully that's a good one. And until then, you have a great day. Bye-bye.